Hi, I'm Albert and I run the page Injured Designs here on YouTube and on Instagram. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to recreate this effect and also teach you the basics of masking in Photoshop. Let's get started. So start by having an image to work from. This can be a portrait or a landscape image. Anything that you want to put something behind will work fine. On this layer here, it's just an image layer. I've just positioned the logo where I sort of want it. Again, don't worry too much about this step because you can change it later on. But for now, select your original layer. You could either use the lasso tools and sort of click and go around your object like this. This is kind of time consuming. The magnetic lasso tool does this a little bit quicker and you can, go through it this way, but again, kind of time consuming. The shortcut I'm using there to deselect everything is Control D. That will be very handy, so remember that. You could also use the quick selection tool. This does a pretty quick job of it, but again, it's kind of nitpicky. You have to really focus on the edges, and if you hold Alt down, you can take stuff away if you don't want it selected, but again, it's kind of time consuming. So Photoshop, thankfully, has a kind of a shortcut. Over here in Select and Subject, Photoshop will use its sort of own technology to select what it thinks is the main portion of your image. So for something like this, which is just a photo of a car, it's really easy for it to figure out what we're trying to work with. So if we zoom in here, you can actually see that it's selected some portions here by the wing mirrors. So let's say we don't want that. So I'm going to show you how to remove that with the lasso tool and then with the quick select as well. Let's start with the lasso tool. If we hold down Alt, we can make a point and double click to remove it there. And on the other side, we'll use the quick select. Again, hold down Alt, and you can see up here it's changed to the negative. We're just going to click and drag away, and it's going to do a pretty good job. As I said, it's pretty nitpicky, so you may have to go back in and just get those corners. There we go, that will do. So now we want to remove this section here at the back as well, because we want to have our text show through this. So if we were to apply the mask at the moment, and then invert it with Control and I, as you can see, it's not showing through the back, so that's not what we want. So we're going to go back here, using Control Z, and go back to our mask and select our layer. And for this, we'll use the magnetic lasso tool, because I think this is going to make the job kind of quick. And we're just going to go across all of this. Again, don't worry if it's perfect, we can always tweak it later on. There we go, that's done a pretty good job. I'm just going to select the polygonal. So we're going to go back in, and I'm just going to manually mask out that section. So now, when we apply our mask, and then invert it, we can see that it now shows through the back. Now, do you remember earlier when I said that it didn't really matter of the placement of it? Well, that's because when you make a mask on a layer, it will link it to that image. So if I was to move this now, the mask is going to move with it. Whereas if you unclick the link, your mask will stay where it is, but your image will now move behind it. So now I'm going to apply that effect of having it look blurry through the back windscreen. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to duplicate this layer. I'm going to do this by holding down the Alt key again, clicking the layer and dragging and releasing, and it's going to make a copy of that layer. You can also right click and duplicate somewhere, but it's a little quicker just to hold down Alt and click and drag. So we're going to do that. Hide the layer below it, and selecting our mask over here in the Layers tab, what I'm going to do is just select this back windscreen here. Again, it doesn't have to be rough, we're just going to use this to get rid of the rest of the mask. Select your paintbrush tool, make sure the hardness is at 100%, or just select the hard round brush. So you can see over here in the thumbnail of the mask that the black portion is what doesn't show through, whereas the white is what does. So we want to keep this bit through the black windscreen. So all I'm going to do is select the color black, hold Control, Shift and I to invert the mask that we made. So now it's selected everything but what we selected in the middle, and we're just going to paint out the rest of that image. So you can see over there in the thumbnail. So now it's just as easy as applying a quick blur to the layer, and if we zoom in, There we go, so we can see that that part of the image is now blurry, and all we have to do is just remove it, again using the black colour of the paintbrush from this, reapplying that layer. There we go, and that's how I achieved that effect. Hey, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please, like and subscribe, all that stuff, and go check out the Instagram at Injured Designs. Posting a lot of cool stuff over there, a lot more car edits, a lot of videography stuff, also doing some sort of tips and tricks on the story, so go check it out. Link is in the description, it's on the channel, it's pretty much everywhere I can put it, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.